Alright, 2.3 is formulas and problem solving. And you'll probably like this section because it's kind of short. What they're going to do is they're going to give you a formula. For example, they could say volume equals length times width times height. And you may not even know what those stand for, and that is totally fine. But what they'll say is, given this formula, solve for a particular variable. So in this first one, they want us to solve for h. So to get h alone, we just need to do the furthest thing from h, and there's nothing but this one term, and we're multiplying by L and W. So to get rid of those, we do the opposite operation. We divide by L and W. And that's only legal if we can do it on both sides of the equal sign. So on the right, L divided by L is 1, W divided by W is 1. So I then have H all alone. I'm going to flip-flop that. And then I have V over equals V over L times W. And that's done. That's your answer. Complete. Let's try another one. This happens to be an equation of a line. And we're going to eat those all up in chapter 3. We're going to do tons of lines. So in this one, they want us to practice solving for y. So remember your rule. You do the furthest thing from y first. So don't worry about the 3, worry about the 2x. And you're adding it, so the opposite operation is to add 2x to both sides. So here, negative 2x and positive 2x cancel and they're gone. And so I have 3y equals, but on the right side, this one has an x and this one does not. So they are not like terms. So don't try to combine them, just write 2x plus 7. Or 7 plus 2x is also correct. Then, again, to get y alone, we need to get rid of that 3. So we're multiplying by it, so the opposite operation is to divide by it. And pay attention here, because this causes some errors in students. You divide both the 2x and the 7. You have to divide everything by 3. So I'm going to write it like this, and then we're going to go 3 divided by 3 is 1. So my answer is just y equals 2x plus 7 over 3. Or, just so that you know, that is the exact same as this. So up here, where you divided by 3, you could divide this by 3 and this by 3. Or the whole thing. Those are equivalent, and they're both correct. Alright, let's try this one. Let's say I give you a equals 1/2 capital B plus lowercase b times h. Now I believe that's the formula for the area of a trapezoid, because trapezoids have two bases, so one's probably b and b, and a height. And so, but that's extraneous. Like, you might know it and you might not, and that is totally fine. What you have to be able to do is solve for the variable that they ask, and in this case they want us to solve for lowercase b. So you could do it a couple ways. You could distribute the 1/2 and the h and then do the problem, but I'm going to go ahead and just do the furthest thing from b first, which looks like it's either the 1/2 or the h, because this is in parentheses. So if I want to get rid of the 1/2, I need to do the opposite operation. I'm dividing by 2, so I'm going to times by 2. Or, if that were a fraction like 3/2, you would times by the reciprocal. So maybe I'll just show you I'm timesing by 2 and I'm dividing by 1 in the same step. And anything I do on that side, I have to do on this side as well. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and it's gone. And 1 divided by 1 is 1, so it's gone. Or you can leave the 1 there, that's fine. So I have 2 times a, and you can write it over 1, but we know that doesn't change it, so I'll just write 2a. And now I have capital B plus lowercase b times h. Again, the furthest thing from b is this h, and we're multiplying by it, so the opposite thing to do is to divide by h. And h divided by h is 1, so it's gone. So we're almost done, but we're not quite there yet, because lowercase b isn't quite alone. So the next thing I have to do is get rid of this, and we're adding it, so I'm going to subtract b from both sides. So here it cancels, and then I'm going to flip-flop it, so don't be confused. I'm going to write this b on the left, and then I'm going to write my 2a over h, and then I'm going to write my subtract b. And you could have negative b plus that. That's equivalent to whichever order you like. Alright, just one more thing in this chapter and you're done with it. And that is they give you this formula. And I just want to talk about it for a second, because you'll have to use it for a story problem at the very end of this section. It says that A equals P times 1 plus R over N raised to the NT. And what that means, this is the amount, A stands for amount of money, that you'll have if you invest this much principal. So in other words, if your starting amount of money. And it compounds at this interest rate. And remember that, and remember that if I tell you that it compounds at 23%, in case you've forgotten, percent is actually the same as per, which means divide. Cent, we know there's 100 cents in a dollar, so it's percent is per 100. And so if you divide that on your calculator, you'll see that it moves the decimal 2 decimal places. So since you can't put a percent button in your calculation, instead of writing 23%, write 0.23. Remember to move the decimal 2 places to the left. Now N stands for the number of compounds. So if we're talking about something that compounds annually, you would say 1. If it compounds every month, you would say 12. If it compounds every day, 365. So however many times it compounds. And then T is the time that we're talking about. So you'll see one of those in your homework, and you just need to plug it in and then use your calculator, which can be tricky, to get the answer. So try that. And if you have any issues with it, you can email me and I will work one out for you and put it in a page in Canvas as well. And my math lab also has helps for it too. So good luck on that section 2.3.